The nighttime negotiator, the gateway to the deep. My friends, we must now turn our attention to the most misunderstood period of the human experience. We have been taught by a materialistic world that sleep is merely a biological necessity. We are told it is a timeout from life, a period of nothingness, where the body repairs its tissues and the brain clears its filters. But I tell you, sleep is the most creative act of your entire 24-hour cycle. It is not a pause in your existence, it is a tune in to the source of all existence. When you close your eyes and prepare to enter the silence of the night, you are not simply going to bed. You are entering the Holy of Holies. You are preparing to hand over the steering wheel of your life to your subconscious mind. This is what I call the nighttime negotiator. In the waking hours, you are the conscious director, but in the hours of the night, the subconscious is the pilot that takes your orders and navigates the vast, uncharted waters of the quantum field. Your sleep affirmations are not just nice words. They are the final set of instructions you give to this internal pilot before the gatekeeper of your conscious mind falls into its slumber. The mystery of subconscious susceptibility. Why is the moment before sleep so vital? It is because of the law of subconscious susceptibility. During the day, your conscious mind is active, critical, and often cynical. It acts as a garrison at the gate of your soul. If you try to tell yourself, I am successful, at high noon, the garrison looks at your current environment and rejects the thought as a lie. But as you drift towards sleep, the garrison grows wary. The gatekeeper begins to nod off. In this state of drowsy relaxation, your subconscious is uniquely susceptible. It has no power to argue. It has no power to reject. It is like a wide open, fertile field waiting for the seed. Whatever you impress upon the subconscious in these final moments of wakefulness is accepted as an absolute command. This is the negotiation. You are negotiating the terms of your future reality. If you enter sleep with a mind full of worry, you are instructing the pilot to navigate toward more trouble. But if you enter sleep with an affirmation of power, you are handing the pilot a map to your greatest desires. Handing over the steering wheel. Imagine, if you will, that your life is a great ship. During the day, you are the captain on the bridge, making decisions and reacting to the waves. But as the sun sets, the captain must rest. There is a second in command who takes the wheel during the night. This second in command is infinitely more powerful than the captain. He has access to charts the captain cannot see. He can command the winds and the tides. This is your subconscious. It never sleeps. It works on your identity 24 hours a day. When you use sleep affirmations, you are essentially saying to the nighttime negotiator, this is the course I want you to maintain while I am unconscious. This is the state I want you to build. If you fail to give a specific instruction, the subconscious simply continues to build your old habits. It follows the last command it received. Therefore, the negotiation at the edge of sleep is the most important conversation you will ever have with yourself. The affirmation as a final command. We must move away from the idea that affirmations are please or hopes. A true sleep affirmation is a directive. It is a statement of fact, given at the moment of highest receptivity. When you whisper I am, you are identifying yourself with the Creator. You are defining the blueprint that the subconscious must follow. You see, the subconscious is a perfect servant. It does not care if the command is good or bad. It only cares that the command is accepted. By using the twilight zone before sleep, you are ensuring that the command is accepted without the interference of your daily doubts. You are slipping the seed under the fence while the guard is looking the other way. This is the gateway to the deep. It is the moment where you bypass the limitations of the physical world and enter the world where all things are possible. The sacred atmosphere of the night. I want you to treat your bedroom as a laboratory of transformation. When you lay your head upon the pillow, you are stepping onto the Alpha, Theta bridge. The noise of the world is fading. The demands of the day are gone. In this sacred atmosphere, your words take on a weight they do not have during the day. Do not waste this high susceptibility on the garbage of the day. Do not replay your arguments or your fears. That is like feeding poison to your pellet. Instead, use your affirmations to create a cloud of success. Let your final words be a covenant with the infinite. Tell the nighttime negotiator who you are. Tell him you are wealthy. Tell him you are loved. Tell him you are healthy. As you slip into the deep, The subconscious takes these words and begins to weave them into the fabric of your soul. It begins to align the circumstances of tomorrow with the affirmations of tonight. The power of the final impulse. The final impulse of consciousness before sleep is seed of the next day's harvest. Most people wake up in the morning feeling exactly like they did the day before because they fell asleep in the same state. They never negotiated a new deal. They never gave a new instruction. But you are different. You are a student of the law. You know that sleep is the womb of creation. You know that the nighttime negotiator is waiting for your orders. Tonight, as you feel the heavy hand of sleep upon your eyes, be conscious of your closing argument. Make it an affirmation of victory. Make it an affirmation of peace. The gatekeeper is falling asleep. The pilot is taking the wheel. Give the command and let the deep do the work. You are not going to sleep. You are going to create. The negotiation is yours. The law of the last impression. The lingering frequency of the soul. My friends, we come now to a law so absolute, yet so ignored by the masses, that it determines the very trajectory of a man's life. We must speak of the law of the last impression. You must understand that the moment of transition, that split second where you drop off from the conscious world into the subconscious deep, is the most critical moment of your existence. It is the spiritual stamp. Whatever is impressed upon the mind in that final, fading moment of awareness becomes the lingering frequency that vibrates through your entire being for the next 8 hours. Think of your mind as a vast, dark ocean. During the day, you are throwing pebbles into that ocean, thoughts of work, thoughts of bills, thoughts of people. But the final thought you hold before sleep is not a pebble. It is a massive stone that creates ripples that travel to the furthest shores of your soul. If you fall asleep in a state of worry, you are not merely having a bad night. You are literally marinating your subconscious in the frequency of lack. You are soaking your nervous system in the poison of, I am not enough. And because the subconscious mind never sleeps, it spends the entire night cooking that worry into the reality of your tomorrow. The lingering frequency, the sound of the night. Most people are unaware that they are broadcasting, even while they sleep. Your subconscious is a perpetual motion machine. It takes the last impression you gave it and it loops it thousands upon thousands of times while your physical body rests. This is the lingering frequency. It is like a song that gets stuck in your head, but instead of a melody, it is a vibrational blueprint. If your last impression is one of frustration, if you are replaying the said, she said of the day, then that frustration becomes the tuning fork for your night. Your subconscious will search the infinite possibilities of the quantum field to find more things that match that frustration. But, my friends, if you choose to fall asleep in an affirmation of power, if your last thought is, I am secure, or I am Neville Goddard, then that becomes the lingering frequency. You are literally reconstructing your neural pathways while you rest. You are weaving a new garment of the soul while the body is paralyzed in sleep, reconstructing the temple of the mind. In the ancient texts, it is said that he who keeps Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. That keeper is your own marvelous subconscious. It is a tireless builder. Every night it goes to work on the temple of your life. But it can only build according to the blueprints you left on its desk before you walked out the door of consciousness. If you leave a blueprint of doubt and fear, the architect will spend 8 hours strengthening those walls. He will harden those beliefs into your very cells. This is why you wake up feeling heavy, tired, and defeated. But if you give the architect a blueprint of abundance, he will spend the night tearing down the old structures of limit and replacing them with the piles of prosperity. This is the miracle of the night. You do not have to work for this change. You only have to impression. The law of the last impression is the shortcut to transformation, for it utilizes the free labor of the subconscious while you are oblivious to the world, flavoring the deep. Consider the analogy of a cup of water. If you drop a single drop of blue dye into that water just before it is frozen, the entire block of ice will be blue. The last impression is that drop of dye. It colors the entirety of your sleep state. You must become a spiritual chemist. You must be very careful about what flavor you are adding to your consciousness before you freeze it into the night. If you watch the news before bed, filled with war, disease, and poverty, you are flavoring your deep with terror. You are inviting the shadows to dine with you. But if you read the words of the masters, or if you repeat your lullaby of success, you are flavoring your deep with gold. You are inviting the light to saturate your bones. The final, I am, the most powerful last impression you can ever hold is the feeling of the I am. As you feel yourself slipping away, as the world begins to dissolve and the hazes of sleep takes over, reach for the highest version of yourself. Do not ask for things. Do not beg for change. Simply be. Whisper to the silence, I am healthy. I am wealthy. I am free. Do not say it to the walls. Say it to the deep. Feel the flavor of those words. Let them be the last thing you know. If you do this, you are commanding the night. You are setting the lingering frequency to the frequency of the divine. And as you wake in the morning, you will find that you don't have to try to be positive. You will wake up within the frequency. The impression has become the expression, the sacred seal of the night. My friends, treat the last 5 minutes of your day as a sacred rite. Do not talk to anyone. Do not look at a screen. Close your eyes and seal your consciousness with the stamp of victory. If a negative thought tries to enter, wait until it passes and then stamp the mind with your affirmation. The law of the last impression is your unfair advantage. While the rest of the world is marinating in worry, you will be reconstructing in power. You will be building your empire in the silence, one night at a time. The lingering frequency of your success will eventually become so loud that the 3D world will have no choice but to dance to its tune. The night is yours. The frequency is yours. The last thought is the master of the next day. Fall asleep in the feeling of being the person you want to be. The Lord demands that you wake up as that person. Bypassing the critical factor, the silence of the logical guard. My friends, we come now to the very mechanics of the spiritual mind, the reason why your daytime affirmations often feel like shouting into a hurricane, while your nighttime whispers change the very fabric of your destiny. We must speak of bypassing the critical factor. You see, within the mind of every man, there is a great divider. There is a wall that stands between your conscious desires and your subconscious power. During the hours of the sun, while you are alert and active, this wall is manned by the critical mind. It is the logical guard, the analytical sentry, that stands at the gate of your soul and demands to see the evidence for every thought you attempt to plant. If you stand in the middle of a busy street and affirm, I am wealthy, the critical factor immediately consults your history. It looks at the empty pockets, it looks at the unpaid bills, and it shouts back with a voice of thunder, no, you are not! Look at the facts! Look at the reality. This sentry rejects the positive thought because it does not match the evidence of the three-dimensional world. But, my friends, the secret of the masters lies in knowing when the guard leaves his post. There is a window, a sacred haze, where the logic centers of the brain begin to power down. This is the theta state, and it is here that the barrier is lowered, allowing your affirmations to be accepted not as hopes, but as absolute truth. The guard at the gate. You must understand that the critical factor is not your enemy. It is a biological function designed to keep you grounded in your current environment. It is the part of you that says, don't jump off the cliff, or don't touch the fire. But when it comes to the creation of a new life, this guard becomes a tyrant. It protects your old story with a fierce loyalty. It refuses to let any new blueprint pass through unless it already sees the physical proof. This is why positive thinking is so exhausting for the average man. He is constantly arguing with himself. He is trying to force a seed into a ground that is covered by a layer of reinforced concrete. But as the body relaxes, as the eyes grow heavy and the room begins to fade, a biological miracle occurs. The brain waves slow down. You move from the jagged, fast-moving beta waves of the workday into the rhythmic, peaceful alpha waves, and finally you reach the theta state. In this state, the logical guard grows drowsy. He lays down his spear. He closes his eyes. The critical factor is bypassed. The wall of concrete becomes as soft as warm wax. Now, for the first time in 24 hours, the subconscious mind is vulnerable. It is wide open. It is ready to believe anything you tell it, without a single argument. The Theta Window, the creative twilight. In the theta state, the subconscious mind does not know the difference between imagination and reality. It has no analytical faculty. It cannot say no. It can only say yes. This is the window of sublime receptivity. When you use your sleep affirmations in this twilight zone, you are not wishing for a change. You are issuing a decree to a mind that has no choice but to obey. When you whisper, "I am healthy," or "I am abundantly provided for," while in this hazy state, the subconscious accepts it as a present fact. It does not look at your medical records. It does not look at your bank balance. It simply takes the impression and begins to mold your body and your world to match it. This is why the masters tell us that the feeling is the secret. In the theta state, the feeling bypasses the logic. You are communicating in the native language of the infinite. You are planting your seed in the deep, moist soil of that no man's land, where the world of senses cannot reach. Deleting the old programming, the most beautiful part of bypassing the critical factor is that it allows for immediate overwriting. We all carry old programs of "I am not worthy" or "life is hard." These programs were often installed when we were children, before our critical factor was even formed. They are buried deep. During the day, we try to fight these programs with willpower, but willpower is a conscious tool, and it cannot reach the subconscious depths. However, in the silence of the theta state, you can reach down and delete the old code. You don't do it by fighting, you do it by replacing, by repeating your affirmations as you drift off. You are drowning out the old recordings. You are wiring the neural pathways of your brain while the logic center is asleep. You are performing spiritual surgery on yourself. You wake up the next morning and find that the old fears no longer have a grip on you. Why? Because the sentry wasn't there to stop the new program from being installed. You have bypassed the guard and changed the master script. The power of absolute acceptance. When the critical factor is bypassed, your affirmation becomes a command of the soul. In this state, there is no trying, there is only being. The subconscious mind is the womb of nature. Whatever is cast into it, it must bring to birth. By utilizing the moments just before sleep, you are ensuring that your seed is never rejected. You are ensuring that your desire is accepted with absolute totality. Do not underestimate the power of these few minutes of drowsy affirmation. 5 minutes in the theta state is worth 500 hours of positive thinking in the beta state. During the day, you are a beggar trying to convince a king. But in the theta window, you are the king, and the subconscious is your prime minister, ready to execute your every whim. The critical factor is the only thing that stands between you and your godhood. Learn to wait for its slumber. Learn to love the haze, the master of the haze. Tonight, as you feel the heavy hand of sleep upon your brow, do not resist it. Welcome the drowsiness. It is the sign that the guard is leaving his post. As the room begins to tilt and your thoughts begin to drift, bring your affirmation to the forefront. Do not say it with effort. Say it with certainty. Whisper, "I am secure. I am loved. I am successful." Each time you say it, feel it sinking deeper, past the logic, past the reason, past the doubt, and straight into the heart of the machine. You are bypassing the limitations of your past. You are bypassing the limitations of your birth. You are entering the holy silence, where the word is God. The God is asleep. The gate is open. The soil is ready. Speak your truth into the haze, and the haze will harden into the rock of your reality. Gemini said, affirmations as software updates. The miracle of neural overwriting. My friends, we must now move into the modern age to understand an ancient truth. We often speak of the cell and the spirit, but let us for a moment speak of the biological machine that houses your consciousness. To truly master the law of sleep, you must view your brain as the most sophisticated hardware in the universe, and your habits, those recurring thoughts of lack, fear, and limitation, as the software that has been running on that hardware for decades. The tragedy of the average man is that he tries to fix his software while the computer is running 1,000 complex programs. He tries to change his mindset in the heat of the workday while he is answering emails, fighting traffic, and managing stress. This is like trying to install a new operating system while the processor is at 100% capacity. The system crashes, the update fails, the old habits remain. But, my friends, there is a secret way. Sleep affirmations are the system updates of the soul. They are the patches, the upgrades, and the total rewrites that install quietly in the background while the user, your conscious ego, is fast asleep. The conflict of the running program. You must understand why your daytime effort feels so futile. Every habit you possess, the way you think about money, the way you feel about your body, the way you react to criticism is a running program. These programs are deeply hard-coded into your neural pathways. When you are awake, your brain is in execution mode. It is busy running the survival program, the work program, and the social program. When you try to affirm, "I am wealthy," in the middle of a busy day, you are trying to force quit an old program that has been running for 20 years. The hardware resists you. It says, "I cannot install this new data right now. I am too busy processing the lack that you are currently experiencing." This is why you feel like a fraud when you affirm during the day. The software of your past is simply too loud. It is occupying all the bandwidth of your consciousness. The midnight installation, quiet background processing. But look what happens when you go to sleep. The user logs off. The heavy applications of the day are closed. The processor of the brain moves from the chaotic frequency of the world into a state of deep, rhythmic maintenance. This is the moment of neural overwriting. In the silence of the night, the brain is not off. It is actually performing its most vital work. It is sorting data, repairing cells, and most importantly, it is rewiring its connections based on the last input it received. When you use sleep affirmations, you are essentially scheduling an update. You are placing the new code, the I am of your desire, into the update folder of the subconscious. Because the user is asleep, there is no conflict. There is no ego to click cancel. There is no logic to say incompatible. The subconscious simply sees the new data and begins the process of neural overwriting. It begins to physically change the hard drive of your brain to accommodate the new software of your success. The law of neural overwriting. In the world of science, they call this neuroplasticity. But in the world of the spirit, we call it the law of neural overwriting. Every time you repeat an affirmation as you drift into the deep, you are carving a new path in the gray matter of your mind. You are burning a new circuit. Think of your old habits as deep, muddy ruts in a road. If you try to drive out of them during the day, you just get stuck. But sleep affirmations are like a repaving crew that comes out at night while the road is empty. They fill in the ruts of poverty, and they lay down a smooth, golden highway of abundance. By the time you wake up and start your engine for the new day, the road has already been changed. You don't have to try to drive differently. The hardware of the road now guides you effortlessly into the new direction. Deleting the legacy code. Most of us are running legacy software, old outdated programs installed by our parents, our teachers, and our childhood traumas. These programs are full of bugs and glitches that cause us to fail just when we are about to succeed. You cannot delete these programs through willpower alone. Willpower is a front-end tool. The problem is in the back-end code. Sleep affirmations act as a script that goes into the root directory of your being. It finds the lack .exe file and it replaces it with abundance .sys. It finds the unworthy .bat and it overwrites it with divine right .vibes. This is the power of neural overwriting. You are not adding to your old self. You are replacing the old self. You are formatting the disk of your soul and installing a sovereign operating system. This is why, after a few nights of this practice, you find yourself reacting to the world differently. You don't try to be confident, you simply are confident because the software for self-doubt has been overwritten. The I am command root access to the soul. To perform a system update on a computer, you often need administrative privileges or root access. In the human mind, the only phrase that carries root access is I am. When you say, I want, you are a GUIST user with no power to change the system. But when you whisper, I am, as you slip into the night, you are logging in as the administrator. You are speaking the language that the hardware understands. You are saying to the brain, overlook the previous data. Disregard the history of the day. Install this new identity as the default setting. And the brain, in its infinite obedience, begins the neural overwriting. It begins to produce the chemicals of wealth. It begins to fire the neurons of success. It begins to wire the synapses of health. By morning, the software update is complete. The version 2.0 of you is ready to be launched. The piece of the finished installation tonight as you feel the shutdown sequence of your body beginning. Do not fear the loss of consciousness. Welcome it. View your bed as the docking station where your soul goes to be upgraded. As the user, begins to fade away. Introduce your new script. Whisper, I am secure. I am expanded. I am the master of my world. Do not worry about how the update happens. Do not try to watch the code being written. Just hold the end result in your mind. Trust the internal pilot to handle the neural overwriting. The computer of the mind is quiet. The workday programs are closed. The update is ready. Fall asleep in the I am and wake up to a world that has been upgraded to match your soul. The power of the I am anchor, the master password of the soul. My friends, we have spoken of the gateway, the frequency and the neural overwriting of the mind. But now, we must touch upon the sacred pivot. We must speak of the two most powerful words in any language, the words that constitute the master password to the subconscious mind. I am speaking, of course, of the words, I am. You see, the great failure of the seeker is not a lack of desire, nor is it a lack of sincerity. It is a failure of tense. Most people spend their lives in the I will be, the I hope to be, or the I am trying to be. But the subconscious mind, the great builder of your reality, is a creature of the eternal now. It does not know the future. It does not understand later. It only understands the present tense identity. When you use sleep affirmations, you are not sending a request into the void. You are casting an anchor. If your anchor is, I will be wealthy, you have anchored yourself to a future that will forever remain one day ahead of you. You have created a perpetual delay. But when you use the I am anchor, you are claiming the identity now. You are collapsing the wave of all possibilities into a single, solidified fact. By repeating I am statements as you drift into the silence, you are defining your identity at the most foundational level of your consciousness. You are not visiting a state, you are occupying a throne. The I am, as the root of all creation. You must realize that I am is not just a phrase, it is the name of God within you. It is the first cause. Before you can be a man or a woman or a father or a worker, you first are. The I am is the formless awareness upon which all form is built. When you add a word after I am, you are conditioning the unconditioned light of God. You are giving a command to the clay of the universe to take a specific shape. If you say, I am poor, you have conditioned the light of the universe to produce poverty. If you say, I am tired, you have ordered the cells of your body to manifest fatigue. But look at the power you hold at the edge of sleep. As the world dissolves, you return to the formless state. You return to the I am. From this place of pure potential, you can choose any labile you desire. You can anchor yourself to any reality. By using the present tense, you are telling the subconscious, this is not a goal I am pursuing. This is the definition of who I am, here and now. The trap of the future tense, the reason I will be, is so destructive to manifestation is that it reinforces the state of lack. To say, I will be healthy, is to admit to the subconscious that you are currently sick. The subconscious, being a perfect mirror, says, your current command is I am sick, because you are looking forward to being healthy. Therefore, I will give you more looking forward and more sickness. It is a closed loop of frustration. The I am anchor breaks the treadmill. It ignores the evidence of the senses. It ignores the temporary shadow of the 3D world. It declares the truth of the spirit as the only reality. When you say, I am my as you drift off, you are not lying to yourself. You are speaking from the perspective of the quantum self, the version of you that already exists in the field of infinite possibilities. You are synchronizing your physical brain with your spiritual reality. You are forcing the lighter to become the now, defining the foundational identity. Your foundational identity is the baseline of your life. It is the default setting of your soul. Most of us have been anchored to identities given to us by others, labels of average, struggling, or unlucky. These are the old anchors that keep your ship stuck in the shallow, muddy waters of the past. Sleep affirmations are the tools you use to cut the old cables and drop the new anchor in the deep blue waters of your choosing. When you use the I am anchor in the Theta state, the anchor doesn't just sit on the surface, it sinks deep into the subconscious bedrock. It becomes part of the earth. By the time you wake up, you are no longer trying to feel rich. You have become anchored in the frequency of wealth. You walk, talk, and breathe as the I am. Your identity has been redefined at the root. The foundational level of your being has been stamped with the new command. The I am as a shield against the senses. During the day, your senses will argue with you. They will point at your bank account and say, "See, you are not rich." But if you have anchored yourself in the I am during the night, you have a shield. You can look at the lack and say, "That is just a lingering shadow. It has no power over me, for I am wealthy." The I am is your inner fortress. It is the unshakable rock upon which you stand. You must be relentless with your tense. Do not allow a single "I hope" or "I wish" to pass your mental lips as you prepare for sleep. These are the sounds of a victim. The I am is the sound of a sovereign. It is the roar of the lion. When you fall asleep in the I am, you are telling the universe, "The debate is over. The case is closed. I have claimed my name." The ritual of the anchor tonight, as you lay your head down, I want you to find your master affirmation. It should be short, present, tense, and powerful. I am unloved. I am the master of my world. Repeat it slowly. Let the I be the breath of life, and the am be the solidification of reality. Feel the weight of the anchor sinking into your heart. Do not look for the results in the room. Feel the result in the identity. You are not doing an affirmation, you are declaring your existence. You are anchoring your soul to the throne of your desire. The tense is now. The identity is set. Fall asleep in the I am, and wake up in a world that has no choice but to say, "Why you are." Gemini said, emotional resonance over verbal repetition. The language of the soul. My friends, we come now to the very breath of life. Within the law of manifestation, we have discussed the words, we have discussed the timing, and we have discussed the tense. But I must warn you of a trap that ensnares thousands of sincere seekers. Many believe that if they simply repeat a phrase 10,000 times, they will move the hand of God. They treat their affirmations like a penalty in a classroom, writing, "I am wealthy," over and over on the blackboard of their minds. But I tell you, a robotic affirmation does nothing. It is a hollow shell. It is a body without a soul. You see, the subconscious mind does not speak English, nor does it speak Urdu, or French, or any language of the tongue. The subconscious speaks emotion. If you say, "I am rich," but you feel the cold shiver of lack in your stomach, the subconscious ignores your words and amplifies your feeling. It is the emotional resonance that creates the reality, not the verbal repetition. The words are simply a vehicle, a chariot designed to carry the feeling into the dream state. If the chariot is empty, it arrives at the gates of the night with nothing to deliver. To change your life, you must stop being a speaker of words and start being a feeler of truth. The law of the heart's vibration. You must understand that you are a vibrational being before you are a talking being. Every thought you hold has a corresponding chemical signature in the body. When you affirm from a place of effort or force, you are broadcasting a frequency of struggle. You are telling the universe that you are trying to change something because it is currently wrong. But when you achieve emotional resonance, you are no longer trying. You are resonating with a finished fact. The subconscious mind is like a vast, sensitive resonance chamber. It picks up on the tones of the heart. If you want to manifest wealth, do not just say the word money. Instead, seek the feeling of relief that would follow the arrival of that money. Seek the feeling of security. Seek the sense of freedom. It is that specific frequency of relief that the subconscious recognizes. It is the aroma of the wish fulfilled that satisfies the law. The affirmation as a tuning fork. Think of your affirmation as a tuning fork. When you strike a tuning fork, it begins to vibrate at a specific pitch. If there is another object in the room that is tuned to that same pitch, it will begin to hum in sympathy, even if you never touch it. This is how manifestation works. Your inner feeling is the vibration of the tuning fork. The 3D world is the object that must hum in sympathy. If your affirmation "I am secure" is spoken with a flat, dead emotion, the tuning fork does not vibrate. There is no music. There is no power. But if you speak those words and you saturate them with the feeling of safety, if you feel your shoulders drop, your breath deepen, and a warmth spread through your chest, then you have struck the fork. Now you have created a harmonic resonance that the quantum field cannot ignore. You are no longer asking for security. You are embodying it. The words are just the strike, but the feeling is the music, capturing the end result, emotion. How do we capture this resonance? You must go straight to the end. Do not waste your time imagining the process. Do not imagine the bank clerk or the lottery ticket. Go to the moment after the manifestation is a boring, everyday fact. What is the essence of that moment? For many, it is relief, the sigh of the soul when the burden is finally gone. For others, it is joy, the sparkle in the eye when you look at the person you love. For some, it is power, the quiet strength of knowing you are the master of your fate. Tonight, as you drift into your sets, do not be satisfied with just hearing your affirmations. Feel them. If you say, "Thank you," do not just say the syllables. Feel the gush of gratitude in your heart. Let it be so real that a tear might come to your eye. That physical response is the sign that you have achieved emotional resonance. You have bridged the gap between the word and the flesh. You are now carrying the living feeling into the dream state, and the dream state will have no choice but to harden it into a physical fact. By passing the lying lips, the reason we emphasize the heart over the lips is that the lips can lie, but the heart cannot. You can say, "I am happy," while you are crying, but you cannot feel happy while your heart is vibrating in sorrow. The subconscious is the judge of truth. It looks past the mask of words and looks directly at the state of being. This is why sleep affirmations are so powerful. In the theta state, you can no longer perform. You can no longer pretend. You are stripped down to your vibrational core. If you can hold the feeling of the wish fulfilled as you cross the threshold of sleep, you have won. You have infected the subconscious with the truth of your desire. You are not teaching the subconscious English. You are painting the subconscious with your aroma, the aroma of the finished fact. I want you to think of your desire as a fragrance. You do not need to see a rose to know it is there. You can smell its essence. Your affirmations should be like that fragrance. They should fill the atmosphere of your mind with the scent of success. Tonight, as you repeat your "I am" statements, do not focus on the letters. Focus on their aftertaste. If you were truly, undeniably wealthy right now, what would be the aftertaste of your day? It wouldn't be excitement. It would be peace. It would be a deep, quiet confidence. Capture that confidence. Let it be the vibrational anchor that holds you in the deep. The lips are the vehicle. The emotion is the passenger. The subconscious is the destination. Do not just speak your new life. Resonate it into existence. Feel the relief. Feel the joy. Feel the done deal. The wind of day. Audit forgiving the 3D world. My friends, we arrive now at a practice of supreme necessity. We have spoken of the I am and the emotional resonance, but we must now address the vessel into which these treasures are poured. You see, the great error of many is that they attempt to layer truth over a foundation of lies. They try to plant the seed of wealth into a soil that is still choked with the weeds of the day's grievances. We must speak of the end of day audit. To make your sleep affirmations work with the power of 1,000 suns, you must first empty the cup. You cannot pour the new wine of your desired reality into the old bottle of a frustrated, angry, or fearful heart. This is the process of emotional cleansing. It is the spiritual bath you take before you put on the royal robes of your affirmations. If you carry the static of the day, the rude remark of a coworker, the anxiety of a late bill, the irritation of a traffic jam, into the state akin to sleep, you are creating a vibrational conflict. You are asking the subconscious to build a palace while you are still holding a bag of trash. To succeed, you must spend at least 30 seconds in a radical act of forgiveness. You must forgive the 3D world for being what it was, so that you can command it to be what you desire it to become. The law of the empty vessel. There is an ancient law that states, nature abhors a vacuum. When you empty your mind of the day's dross, the universe rushes in to fill that space. Most people have full cups, full of the history of their day. They are so busy reacting to what happened that they have no room to create. What will happen? The end of day audive is your moment of spiritual housekeeping. You must realize that the 3D world is merely a shadow. It is a reflected reality. To be angry at a shadow is the height of folly. When you hold on to the frustrations of the day, you are anchoring yourself to the very world you wish to change. By practicing emotional cleansing, you are cutting the lines to the old shore. You are making yourself a clean slate. You are becoming the empty vessel that is capable of receiving the divine instruction of your nightly affirmations. Forgiving the lying mirror. What does it mean to forgive the 3D world? It does not mean you condone injustice or that you like what happened. It means you withdraw your life force from the event. You recognize that the world of the senses is a mirror. If the mirror showed you a face you didn't like today, you don't break the mirror. You don't argue with the reflection. You simply change your internal expression. In those final moments before you begin your affirmations, look back at the day. See the moments that triggered you. See the lack that tried to convince you of its reality. And then, with the authority of the I am, say to those events, I release you. You are a shadow. You have no power over me. This is the audit. You are settling the accounts of the day. You are refusing to carry a debt of anger into the sanctuary of sleep. This emotional cleansing acts as a buffer, separating the man of the day from the god of the night. The 30-second release, the ritual of the exhale. This need not be a long, laborious process. It is a sway of the soul. I want you to practice the ritual of the exhale. As you lie in your bed, take a deep breath. As you hold that breath, gather up all the tension, all the names and all the events of the day that felt like non-success. And then, as you exhale slowly, feel them leaving your body. Feel them dissolving into the nothingness from which they came. You are resetting the instrument. If a musician wants to play a beautiful melody, he must first tune the strings. He must remove the dissonance. Your 30-second audit is your tuning session. You are removing the static so that the music of your affirmations can be heard clearly by the subconscious. Without this cleansing, your affirmations are like a whisper in a hurricane. With it, they are like a bell in a silent cathedral, moving from reaction to action. The world reacts, but the master acts. Most people go to sleep in a state of reaction. They are reacting to their bank account, reacting to their loneliness, or reacting to their pain. This reactive state is the old wine. When you perform the of day audit, you are moving from reaction to pure action. You are saying, the day is done. The evidence of the senses is dismissed. I am now entering the realm of primary cause. This creates a vibrational neutrality. You are no longer poverty thinking or wealth thinking. You are simply being. From this neutral ground, your sleep affirmations have 1,000 times more power. They land on fertile, unoccupied soil. They are the first words spoken in a new world, the peace of the clean slate. There is a profound peace that comes with forgiving the world. It is the peace of the unburdened traveler. When you empty the cup, you sleep deeper, you dream clearer. You are no longer trading water in the emotions of the past. You are sailing toward the promise of the future. Tonight, before you utter a single I am, do your audit. Look at the 3D layer and forgive it for its temporary shadows. Let the emotional cleansing wash over you like a cool wave. Once the cup is empty, once the slate is clean, then and only then begin to whisper your new story. The subconscious is waiting. The new wine is ready. Release the day. Forgive the shadow. Empty the cup. Fall asleep in the purity of the now, and the future will be a reflection of your cleansed heart. Auditory looping, the whisper method and the art of passive absorption. My friends, we have learned to still the body and to audit the soul, but now we must address the persistence of the word. You see, while the conscious mind is a creature of the day that grows tired and seeks rest, the subconscious mind is the eternal watcher. It never sleeps. It never closes its ears. It is a tireless recorder that continues to process the vibration of your environment long after your eyes have closed and your I am has faded into the silence of slumber. To master the night, we must utilize the auditory looping technique, what I call the whisper method. This is the ultimate secret of passive absorption. It is the art of feeding the soul while the ego is unconscious. By using a recorded loop of your own voice or a carefully chosen set of affirmations played at a volume just above the threshold of silence, you create a subliminal whisper. This whisper does not fight the conscious mind. It simply waits for it to leave the room. When the logical sentry is gone, the subconscious leans in to hear the secret. It absorbs the new code, effortlessly like a sponge absorbing water, because there is no one left to say, this is not true. The threshold of the infinite. Why do we speak of a low volume? Why not shout our truths into the night? It is because the subconscious mind is most active when the environment is most subtle. If the audio is too loud, it may startle the conscious mind or keep the senses on high alert. We want to reach the threshold of hearing. When a sound is played at this threshold, the conscious mind eventually tunes it out. It becomes like the ticking of a clock or the sound of the wind. It becomes background noise. But for the subconscious, there is no such thing as background noise. Every vibration is a command. When the ego tunes out the audio, it is effectively handing over the listening post to the deeper self. This allows the affirmations to enter the master files without being scrutinized, analyzed, or rejected. This is passive absorption, the most effortless way to rewrite the story of your life. The power of your own voice. There is no sound in the universe more influential to your subconscious than the sound of your own voice. To the deeper self, your voice is the sound of authority. It is the vibration of the master. When you hear a stranger's voice, your subconscious may listen, but when it hears you speaking your own I am, it recognizes it as a self-decree. I suggest you record your affirmations in a calm, confident, and rhythmic tone. Do not beg. Speak as though you are already the person you want to be. Use the present tense we have mastered. Then, loop this recording. As you fall asleep, you are priming the pump, but as you enter deep sleep, the auditory loop continues to drip the new reality into your mind. It is like the constant dropping of water that eventually wears away the hardest stone of old belief. By the time you wake, your subconscious has heard your success 10,000 times, and it has no choice but to accept it as the new normal, bypassing the resistance of the ego. The ego is the part of you that is wedded to your past. It is the part that says, I have always been poor, so I must stay poor. When you try to change during the day, the ego is your greatest opponent. It will fight every new idea to protect its current identity. But the whisper method is a guerrilla tactic for the soul. It does not engage the ego in battle. It simply waits for the ego to log off. While you are in the deep delta state, the auditory loop is bypassing the egoic resistance entirely. You are smuggling the truth into your own heart, because the information is being absorbed passively. There is no tension created. There is no disbelief. There is only the steady accretion of a new fact. You are installing the update while the system is in maintenance mode, the atmosphere of the permanent state. One of the greatest benefits of auditory looping is that it creates a vibrational atmosphere that lasts the entire night. Most people's vibration slumps during sleep. They drift back into their old, default states of lack or loneliness. But with the whisper method, you are propping up your vibration. You are keeping the lamp lit all through the night. You are effectively living in the end. For 8 hours straight, you are occupying the state without effort. This creates a vibrational momentum that is incredibly hard to break. When you wake up, you don't have to find your positive state. You are already in it. The room feels different. You feel different. You wake up with the end result already echoing in your mind. The passive absorption of the night becomes the active expression of the day, the technology of the spirit. We live in an age where we have the tools to make this spiritual work easier than ever before. Use your phone, use your headphones, but use them with intent. Do not just play relaxing music. Play the sound of your future. Set the volume so low that you can just barely distinguish the words if you try to hear them. This is the sweet spot. You want the mind to reach for the sound at first, and then let go. Once the mind lets go, the whisper becomes the commandment. It becomes the voice of God, speaking in the garden of your soul, the harvest of the nightly whisper. My friends, do not be lazy with your nights. You spend a third of your life in bed. Do not let that time be wasted space. Use the whisper method to turn your sleep into a factory of abundance. Let the auditory loop be the hammer and chisel that reshapes your world. Tonight, as you lay your head down, start your loop. Hear your own voice telling you the truth of your greatness. As you drift off, let the words become a vibrational blanket. The ego is quiet. The ear is open. The whisper is the law. Fall asleep to the sound of your own victory, and you will wake up to the sight of it. The morning reflection. The proof of the night and the default state shift. My friends, we have traveled through the twilight zone. We have bypassed the logical sentry, and we have whispered our truths into the cradle of the deep. But now, the sun begins to rise. The world of shadows returns to claim your attention. And here, in the first few seconds of wakefulness, lies the great reveal. We must speak of the morning reflection. This is not a task you perform. It is an observation of what has occurred in the dark. You see, the effectiveness of your nightly labor is not proven by a sudden chest of gold appearing on your rug. It is proven by the first thought that enters your mind upon waking. This is the proof of the night. It is the evidence that the seed has taken root and that you have successfully achieved a default state shift. In the past, you may have woken up with a sense of dread. Your first thought was likely a rehearsal of problems, the bills, the boss, the lack. This was your old default setting. It was the automatic program running on the hardware of your brain. But when your sleep affirmations have truly clicked, you will experience a miracle of the mind. You will wake up with a sense of unexplained peace. You will find that you are no longer trying to think positively. You simply are positive. The default setting has been changed overnight. The baseline of your soul has been elevated. The first thought, the compass of the day. You must realize that the first 10 seconds of your day are the compass that sets the direction for the next 16 hours. Most people are vibrationally blend in the morning. They stumble out of bed and allow the world of Caesar to dictate their mood. But for the student of the law, the morning is a diagnostic report. When you wake up, do not reach for your phone. Do not reach for your worries. Stay still for a moment and listen to your internal atmosphere. If you feel a hum of abundance, if you feel a sense of security that you cannot logically explain, you have won. The nighttime negotiator has accepted your terms. The software update has been installed. This unexplained peace is the proof that your subconscious has accepted the new identity as a fact. You are no longer wishing to be a new man. You have woken up as that man. The default state shift from effort to ease. This is the great turning point in the life of any manifester. It is the move from effort to ease. During the day, you may use willpower to correct your thoughts, but willpower is manual labor. It is exhausting. A default state shift, however, is automatic wealth. It is the moment when the internal momentum of your soul is finally working for you instead of against you. Think of a thermostat in a room. If the thermostat is set to poverty, you can open the windows of positive thinking all you want, but the system will eventually pull the temperature back down to lack. But through the law of the last impression and auditory looping, you have reset the thermostat. Your default setting is now abundance. Now, even if a cold wind of bad news blows through your day, your internal system will automatically work to bring the temperature back up to success. You don't have to try to stay warm. Handles it. This is the power of the default state shift. You have changed the fundamental frequency of your existence. The proof in the normalcy. One of the strangest things about a successful default state shift is that your new reality starts to feel normal. When you first began your affirmations, the idea of wealth felt huge and miraculous, but when it takes root in the subconscious, it begins to feel as ordinary as the air. If you wake up and think, "Of course I am successful, why wouldn't I be?" That is the ultimate proof. The surprise has vanished because the acceptance is total. The proof of the night is found in the lack of tension. You no longer feel the desire to manifest because in your internal world the having has become the standard. You have normalized your greatness. The hectic energy of the seeker has been replaced by the steady energy of the possessor, capturing the frequency of the dawn. I want you to learn to capture this morning frequency. When you wake up and feel that unexplained peace, do not let it evaporate. Bathe in it for a few extra minutes. Say to yourself, "This is who I am. This is the new me that was born in the night." You are sealing the work of the night into the consciousness of the day. This morning reflection acts as a bridge. It carries the subconscious certainty of the night into the conscious action of the day. If you can maintain this default peace as you brush your teeth, as you drink your coffee, and as you begin your work, you are unstoppable. You are walking in the state. The 3D world may try to shake you, but it cannot change your baseline. Your default setting has been locked in by the master key of sleep. The end of the spiritual struggle, my friends, the spiritual struggle ends when the default state shift begins. You are no longer fighting the world. You are observing the world as it rearranges itself to match your new internal baseline. The proof of the night is the quiet confidence that allows you to walk through a storm and not get wet. Tonight, as you prepare for your nightly negotiation, look forward to the morning report. Look forward to that first second of wakefulness where you will discover who you have become. If you wake up with the same old thoughts, do not be discouraged. It simply means the update is still downloading. But if you wake up with that sweet, unexplained stillness, rejoice. The default state has shifted. The old man is dead. The new man has risen. The night is the workshop. The morning is the gallery. Listen for the silence of success when you wake. It is the only proof you will ever need. The compound effect of the nightly seed, the law of accumulation. My friends, we have arrived at the final pillar of our temple. We have learned the how and where. But now we must speak of the persistent always. We must speak of the compound effect of the nightly seed. You see, the greatest enemy of the seeker is not disbelief, but impatience. Many a man will plant a seed tonight, and because he does not see a towering oak tree by tomorrow morning, he digs up the seed and declares the law a failure. But I tell you, manifestation is a result of consistency. In the kingdom of the mind, one night of affirmations is a solitary seed. It is a beautiful beginning, but it is not yet a reality. However, 30 nights of the same, I am, is a forest. By making your sleep affirmations a sacred ritual, you are utilizing the law of accumulation. You are creating a compound interest of the soul, where your mindset eventually shifts automatically, moving from the labor of trying to the absolute grace of being. The law of accumulation, the power of the constant drip. You must understand that your subconscious mind is a massive flywheel. It takes a great deal of effort to get it moving from a standstill. Your old identity has the momentum of years, perhaps decades behind it. If you give it one new command, on a Tuesday night you have nudged the wheel. But if you stop there, the old friction of your habits will grind that motion to a halt. To change your life, you must achieve vibrational momentum. The law of accumulation states that small, consistent impressions, repeated over time, eventually reach a critical mass. There is a tipping point where the new identity becomes heavier than the old identity. One I am is a drop of water. It seems insignificant, but the constant drip of water will eventually wear away the hardest granite of lack. By repeating your affirmations every night, you are dripping the truth into your soul. You are building a reservoir of certainty. Eventually, the reservoir overflows, and the flood of manifestation sweeps through your physical world. The compound interest of the soul. In the world of finance, they speak of compound interest as the eighth wonder of the world. It is the process where your interest earns interest, and your wealth begins to grow exponentially. The same is true for your subconscious capital. Every night that you fall asleep in the state of the wish fulfilled, you are adding to your spiritual account. But you are not just adding, you are compounding. Each night of success makes the next night easier. The resistance of the ego grows weaker with every repetition. The neural pathways grow wider and deeper. On the first night, you might have to fight to feel wealthy. On the 10th night, the feeling comes with a gentle invitation. On the 30th night, the feeling is waiting for you the moment your head hits the pillow. This is the compound effect. You are building a momentum of miracles. You reach a stage where you no longer have to apply the law. The law is now applying you. You have created an automatic engine of abundance. The forest of habitual reality. We must move away from the one-hit wonder mentality of manifestation. The world is full of people who tried it for a week. But the master is the one who occupies. If you want to live in a forest of wealth, you must plant a seed every single night. You must be relentless. You must be monotonous in your devotion to your new self. When you achieve this accumulation, your mental diet becomes effortless, because the nightly seed has grown into a sturdy tree. The wind of daily problems can no longer knock you over. You have created a microclimate within your own mind. You wake up in your forest every day. You breathe the air of your success every hour. This is the permanent shift. You have moved beyond manifesting things and have moved into living a destiny. The law of accumulation has hardened your imaginal act into a physical fact. The tipping point of belief. There is a moment, and no man knows the day or the hour, when the subconscious saturation is complete. In the science of physics, they call this a phase transition, like water turning into ice. It happens suddenly, but it is the result of a steady cooling. Your manifestation works the same way. You affirm, and you feel night after night, and for a while, it may seem as though nothing is happening. This is the jap of faith. But beneath the surface, the accumulation is reaching its tipping point. One final I am on a random Thursday night is the final grain of sand that tips the scales. Suddenly the state is accepted, the order is processed, the bridge of incidents is built. You wake up and the world is different. The money arrives, the person appears, the health returns. It feels like a miracle, but it was actually a mathematical certainty. It was the inevitable result of the compound effect. You stayed in the furnace until the metal melted, making the night a sacred ritual. I want you to view your sleep ritual as the most important appointment of your day. It is your meeting with the infinite. Do not miss it. Do not be too tired for your soul. If you are too tired for a complex scene, use the lullaby. If you are too tired for the lullaby, use the whisper. But do not let the night pass empty. Every night is an opportunity to add a brick to your palace. If you miss a night, you haven't just lost 8 hours, you have lost the momentum of the previous nights. But if you are consistent, you are building a power that the world cannot break. You are becoming a giant of the spirit. You are accumulating the evidence of things not seen until they become the only things seen. The sovereign of the long game, my friends, the shortcut to the top is the long walk of consistency. Be the one who stays. Be the one who persists. Be the one who knows that the compound effect is working even when the senses say no. The nightly seed is the most powerful force in the universe when it is backed by the law of accumulation. Tonight, as you drift off, know that you are not just doing a technique. You are building a forest. You are compounding your power. You are shifting your default. Each I am is a golden thread being woven into the tapestry of your life. Keep weaving, keep planting, keep being. The seed is small, but the forest is infinite. The interest is low at first, but the wealth is exponential. Trust the accumulation. Trust the night. The harvest is guaranteed by the law of the Creator.